Hi, this is going to be a quick video on how to apply ColorStreet nails. These are my favorite nail treatments. Right now I've been using them for about 1.5 years. And I'll never go back to the bottle. These things are so much easier to apply. They go on in just minutes, there's no dry time, and they are removable with just plain old nail polish remover. You don't have to have any special tools, you don't have to soak your nails or anything like you would with a gel manicure. I'm going to use today this color. It's called Northern Wonder. And what I'm going to do is take out the nails. This is how they come and packaged in these envelopes. And then along with the nails, you'll find there's 2 alcohol prep pads and a little emery board. Some of the newer packaging has bigger emery board and a bigger packaging altogether, but this is basically what you'd expect to find. And the first thing you're going to do is use these alcohol pads. Open up the packaging here. And you're just going to give your nails a good wipe down. Make sure they're nice and clean, both sides. There's 2 in there. You can do one hand and then the other if you would like. I'm just going to clean off all of my fingers at one time. And once your fingers are nice and clean, make sure they're nice and dry. You don't want your nails to be wet at all when you're trying to apply these nails. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and rip open the package. Pretty simple. Take out the strips. In the strips there's 2 sets. And then you can see that they've already sort of determined which fingers that they think these would look the best on. What I'm going to do is start here at the end and with my pinky. I always start with my pinky and leave my thumb for last. I'm going to just tear off the size that you need for your fingernail. And I always like to err a little bit on the bigger side, because if they're too small, you can see your finger nail underneath on the sides, and it just, to me, does not look as professional. It doesn't look like a real manicure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of test. I know what size my nails need. I've done this very many times. So what you're going to do is there's a clear plastic cover on the front and a paper backing on the back. You're going to remove both of those, and then at the edge of the sticker itself is a little tear strip that comes right off. And it's always helpful to have sort of something to stick all the stuff to, because it's very sticky. And then what I like to do is take that paper backing and put the part that I'm not going to put on the nail right now back onto that paper backing, so that I have something to hold on to besides a sticky sticker when I'm trying to place these onto my nails. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the nail all the way down to the base of the nail bed. Try not to cover up the actual skin at the bottom of your nail, just like this. And I'm just going to push and smooth out the edges, and then you'll see I've got a big long sticker attached to my little nail. Then I'm going to take my cuticle scissors, and I'm just going to cut sort of close but not actually to the nail, and leave it a little bit long, a little bit jagged and ragged there. And then I'm going to go ahead and push down and make sure that this is nice and adhered to this nail. Make sure it's nice and tight down to the nail bed. And then I'm going to go and look around the edges to see if there's any spot where it's kind of touching my fingernail, or my finger itself, the skin on my finger. And I'm going to use my little tool here to just kind of push down and around the edges of the bed, the nail, gently. You don't want to hurt yourself. And then when it comes down to the end, you can see that it's still kind of just floppy there. You take your little emery board and just kind of gently smooth down the edges of your nail. Like that. And pull off. There you go. And one more time just around the edges to clean it. That. I try not to go too much sideways, because sometimes that rips the top of the nail, and then you end up with a ragged edge. But there you go. That's one nail complete. Looks pretty good. There's no wrinkles. There's just looks like a manicure that was done with a little bit of art, which is kind of cool. And then I have the other one, the other side of that sticker is right here, and this is the side I need for my ring finger, the size for my ring finger. So I'll just turn that strip around on that backing and move to the next finger and basically do the same thing. Down to the edge of my nail, down to the edge of my nail, kind of just push that down and around, nice and smooth. This, and you'll see on this one I have a little bit of extra right here, and that's where this kind of tool sort of comes in handy. We can just kind of tuck it down and around, and this will actually cut very easily to it'll cut the sticker and the edges here, just to make sure it's not covering any of your skin. Nice and smooth. And then again with the emery board, I'm not going to try to save that piece that's coming off of this, so I don't need to be too careful with that. Just kind of go like this to cut the top and pull it right off. And there you go, you got 2 nails done. Just like that. So then I'll just continue on with the rest of my hand. The same way, pulling out the stickers that I need to fit each one of my fingers. And I kind of have an idea of which ones fit now because I've done this enough times. But you just kind of hold it up, figure out the one that fits the best, and move along from one finger to the next. I always like to start at the pinky and end at the thumb. And that's a quick tutorial on how to apply a ColorStreet nail.